So the energy for this month is very, very other oriented, and it comes out in a way where you're going to have to find the best solution in order to accommodate other people, in order to either make money through that, and the things that you say, the skills that you bring to the table, and as well as, your calm demeanor, exercising a lot of patience, exercising, your ability to compromise, or relying on your ability to compromise, is going to be the ways in which you can earn a lot of money for this month. I feel a lot of you are either doing training seminars, or you are doing a lot of consultancy work, or you're doing a lot of sales where you are heavily inundated with a lot of responsibilities as it pertains to trying to cater to other people, consulting with other people where you are telling them how to do a specific project, how to do something, as well as trying to accommodate other people in order to make in order to get them to your side, in order to get them on board so that you can, close some, sign some contracts, close some sales. Okay. So it looks very good financially, and just professionally, I feel like it's going to be a very powerful month. So having said that, in the 10th house, which is your career, we have here the 6 of Cups. So whatever opportunities are coming through for this month, coming into the picture, and whatever people are coming to you with in terms of like, do you want to get involved with this project? Do you want to work with this organization? The answer here is yes. Whatever comes through, it is meant to be for you. I feel like a lot of you are going to have a lot of people headhunting you or soliciting you to get involved with them. Okay. So on the professional front, on the financial front, there will be many, many options to choose from, and you're trying to find the most viable option. You're trying to, I feel like you might have, many, many, irons in the fire. So that can mean basically having many portfolios that you're handling. So you could be, in the process of like, or you might be in a work environment where you are handling other people's financial investments. You're waiting for things to mature. You're waiting on a situation to come full circle before you decide to either sell it or to expand and buy more stock options, more investment opportunities. So there will be financiers, investors as well coming through, and they're going to want you to ally up with them. And I feel like a lot of you are a little bit hesitant about doing this, mainly because you might be doubting your skills. Okay. So whatever you went to school for, you feel like, because you're stepping out of your comfort zone, because you are charting new territory for this month. I feel like the main theme is that you need to have a lot of faith in yourself, and you feel almost as if you don't have the necessary skills in order to do something, in order to successfully complete a project or implement a project. So I feel like your business acumen is going to be tested for this month, and just trust that you have the capabilities and the skills, and don't doubt yourself. I also feel your leadership capabilities are going to be tested for this month, where the spotlight is kind of like shining on you, and you're going to have to make a situation, like turn the situation around. And in the process of doing that, you might feel as if people are working at cross purposes with you. But I feel like it's more like, hidden agendas here. Things are not explicitly out in the open. So if you can communicate in a way that will allow people to see what your intentions are. So be very transparent, and work from a space where you let other people see that, hey, we're all working together for a common purpose. So even though people might have different agendas, we need to come together in a way to, allow for the optimal outcome for the group or for everybody as a whole. So there will be some unraveling, communication issues that's coming through. And it's actually normal, because we're heading into a Mercury retrograde period from April 8th and 9th all the way into March 3rd. So I feel like your ability to communicate, your ability to sift through the facts and to understand people's hidden agendas and hidden motives, that's going to be very crucial. Okay. If you are doing anything where you are dealing with like, financial transactions, financial dealings, and I'm seeing a lot of accountants as well, there will be situations where you have to kind of like unearth the truth, dig out the paperwork, sort through the paperwork to make sure everything is legitimate before you can turn in, the contracts, before you can turn in the portfolio, before you can turn in the paperwork. So there's a lot of dynamic energy, honestly. And I feel like your work environment is going to take up a lot of your time. And as a result of that, when it comes to fun and excitement, first of all, we have here the Hermit. So your opportunities for going out socializing and things like that, I feel like they might be a little bit limited, mainly because you're in high demand in the work front, and there's also a lot of paperwork for you to finish up in the work environment. Okay. Additionally, I feel many of you are staying up very late doing like preparations, either for teaching, for those of you who are teachers, or doing some type of a major sales pitch or even a major presentation. I'm seeing like PowerPoint slides and things like that, doing preliminary research or doing like additional research in order to rehearse a sales pitch, in order to rehearse something that you're supposed to present to a group of people. So your opportunities for outing and, socializing, even socially dating is going to be a little bit, I feel like it's going to be curbed, but because it's such an important career month, I feel that you're not going to stress over it. You're not going to feel inundated. Okay. It's a very light, buoyant energy. And I feel like there is also this investigative type of energy coming in where you are, you're digging up information so that you can problem solve. And I feel like that's really going to appeal to the detective inside you. Okay. So I feel like it's a really, other oriented month, but I feel like, trying to figure out where other people's true intention, what other people's true intentions are, and where people, might, say one thing and mean another. And you are going to have to work to navigate this energy of, nuances and, where the communication is not very direct. I feel like that's going to be the bulk of what you're dealing with in the professional front. So let me talk about the relationship, because this card really, struck out at me. So we have here the relationship sector in the 7th house, and I'm talking about romantic relationships first, okay? With the 4 of Wands, this is a long-standing marriage situation where it is being re-examined. It's being re-examined to see whether or not financially it is still a good venture for both parties. And you're looking at this situation as well to see if emotionally it is still a good thing for the two of you to stay together. I feel that many relationships will be tested for this month, okay? And especially for those of you who are married, I do sense, especially if you've been like married for like 5 or 8 years, I do sense a relationship is coming to an end, okay? And this is not coming in as a surprise. I feel like you might have consulted either divorce lawyers, you might have consulted the other person to talk about, separation, dividing up assets and things like that. So I feel like some relationships that are, conducive for a relationship that is a marriage relationship that has been a little bit problematic for the past 3 years. I feel like those relationships are coming to an end for this month. And then for those of you who are newly married in a stable relationship, try to spend time with your significant other this month. I feel like the work front is going to occupy the majority of your time, and your relationship partner is feeling a little bit neglected. I also feel as well, in the work front, there will be opportunities for you to travel. And there will be opportunities for you to network with many, many people in your professional circle. And so make sure that you leave adequate time for your romantic partner and your relationship partner. So it's a very career-oriented type of month. And I feel like for some of you, the relationship, honestly, you might put that on the back burner. And so moving forward here, let me talk about the communication aspect, because that's really important during a Mercury retrograde period. So it's going to run throughout this month, and it's going to continue until May 3rd. Mercury retrograde period is a notorious time where information that has been hidden from us comes to light. And you might accidentally stumble upon information. You might accidentally hear through the grapevine, unintentionally, something that you've been wanting to know. You're going to get some answers that comes out in the open, okay? So I feel like you might have had some unanswered questions regarding your relationship sector and regarding partners as well, and regarding financial dealings. in the past, but all of this information will be coming into the picture for you. I feel though it's going to happen towards the tail end of the month rather than the beginning. Because the beginning, it feels like there's a lot of new contracts that is being signed, negotiations, and new work responsibilities that you're taking on. So I feel like that's the continuation of it for the, the beginning, like first 3 weeks of the month. And then towards the end of the month, reassessment is happening because information comes to light. Okay. So just be careful about this energy, because I feel like, you might have a way in which you feel like, okay, this is going to pan out this way, such and such, it's going to happen in such a way. But I feel like there are going to be a few unexpected like surprises, and there will be a few issues that creep up, especially dealing with like clients. I feel like these issues are going to creep up out of the blue, and you're going to have to do some damage control possibly. Okay. In your housing situation here, I do have a lot of expenditures in the household, and I feel like it is coming through for home repairs or even like physical renting a space for you and your significant other, or you and your family unit. So I do feel, for the past few months, I felt like you guys are looking to implement like, either move away or to find a bigger environment. And I feel like some of you are still on the tail end of this, where you're thinking about where we need to go and what you need to do. I do see a generational home here. If you have been grown up, if you're used to growing up in a family dynamic where there has been like, many different generations under one roof, such as living with grandparents, living with, grandchildren as well. I feel like some people are going to be leaving the nest. And then for others, there's more people entering the nest. Okay. So there's either a contraction for some of you in your housing environment in terms of like how many people are living there, or an expansion for some of you in terms of adding new members into the family unit. And I feel like, the geographical, like the physical space itself might feel a little bit small and crowded. And so some of you are thinking about, making major moves as well in your housing sector. Okay. And, it's going to be good for you, because I feel like financially you can afford it, and you need your own space just to have your comfort zone and to have your haven to come home to after a rough day at work. So that's going to be really important, especially if you're in a relationship as well. That's going to give you the privacy and also that personal space to invite a partner into the fold. Okay. The last thing I'm feeling here with this spread is that there will be situations in which self-doubt will come through in the picture. And I feel like it deals heavily with communication. I'm seeing that many of you are going to be dealing with, they're saying foreigners. Okay. So people that might be culturally, ethnically, linguistically different from you. So they might be communicating from afar, although I feel like they're still going to be in your vicinity in some way. But keep in mind that we want to, really understand. It's important for you to really understand where the other person is coming from. So it's almost like you and the other person, or the other people, are working towards a common purpose, but the ways in which you express yourself, it might not seem that way. It might seem a little bit more competitive or combative. And so just, keep yourself centered and keep in mind that we're all coming from the same source, right? We all want the same things, and we all want like smooth communication and smooth compromises and smooth, arrival at a common consensus among people. And so that's going to be an area of contention, because you might not feel like you know where they're coming from. They likewise might not know where you're coming from. And so approaching communication, approaching other people, especially if they're culturally different from you, doing so in a more open-minded, open-hearted approach, that's going to be very pivotal. Okay. That's going to smooth out the interaction, and it's going to allow all of you to work together to build something of value together as a unit. So don't work at cross purposes with one another. If the environment seems a little bit tense, take a step away from it and then come back to it at a later date. Okay. So I feel like deals, major deals will be struck for this month. Major accomplishments, major milestones in your professional life will be reached for this month. And so I would say you have the skills that you need. And whatever you feel like you are lacking, you can definitely try to cultivate those skills based on the work that you're doing for this month. So the new skills that you learn, the new people that you meet, and whatever projects you're taking on, you are exactly where you're meant to be. And so don't question, your direction. Don't question your sense of competence, and also whether or not you're I guess like you possess the skills necessary to do a specific task. I feel like generally, when I think about Taurus people, you have a really good sense of direction and you have great situational awareness. And I feel like, they can plop you in the middle of town square in a foreign country and you walk around a bit and you're going to figure out where you are. You know how to find your way back home. You know where you're supposed to go. So, directionally, you are very oriented, and situationally, you have great awareness. And so if you extend that metaphor to life overall, because you have the capability to know where you're supposed to go, you are also in a very good position to lead people. If people are just kind of like walking around, not having their own sense of direction and feeling lost all the time, lost like either physically, emotionally, or just mentally, they feel a little bit lost. They feel a little bit uncertain. You have the skills to be a leader, to lead them to where they need to be. Okay. So just know that and don't doubt your capabilities. I feel like some of you have a little bit of a chip. This is just a very few of you have a little bit of a chip on your shoulders regarding your level of educational attainment. So some of you might have dropped out of high school, might not have finished, college, or you feel like you might have been educated in a foreign country and you come to the, wherever you are right now, and you feel like the credentials don't carry over. So you might have to start at the beginning. You might have to learn a new language even. And I feel like because of these things, they serve as barriers for you where you feel kind of out of, it's like a fish out of water. You feel like you're not in your comfort zone. You feel out of place, or you feel that physical displacement. And so the energy coming through for this month is to tell you, you always know where you're supposed to be and you always know where you're supposed to go. So don't doubt it. Okay. Don't, ruminate over the things that happened in the past that you can't change. Just think about everything that you're offering, or everything that you're putting up on the table right now for this month. You have a lot of people soliciting you to get involved with them, social functions or even professional associations. And you get to pick and choose. And you have a lot that you're bringing to the table as well. But I feel like some of you are feeling a little bit uncertain, unsure whether or not you're cut out for the job. So that's something I feel like it's an internal conflict that you're going to have to grapple with for this month. But I would say that whatever skills you feel you're lacking, you're going to be able to pick it up in your career sector for this month, in your work sector as well. Okay. Let me see if there's anything else coming in.